Hey friends, Sam Farkas with Green Hills Guitar Studio here. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to this week's 5-minute lesson. As always, this series is based on actual questions I get from students while I'm teaching guitar lessons here in Nashville, Tennessee. This week's question, it's kind of like it's one of the greatest hits of guitar questions. This question is, what is a slash chord? No, not that slash. And why do we care? Well, good question. Some of you may have encountered this before. A slash chord is, simply put, a chord with a note other than the root in the bass. Okay, so let's give a specific example. C chord. C, that note, the root, is in the bass. It's our lowest note, but it doesn't have to be. We could put a different note in the bass, maybe C with G in the bass. Yeah, it's thick. Okay, so that's what a slash chord is. That's what it's telling us when we see it written down on a piece of paper. C/G means C chord, G in the bass. I think that's pretty simple. Okay, second part of the question, why would we care? Well, to be totally honest, and I think this is part of the confusion, most of the time in simple, kind of basic pop songs, country songs, rock songs, it doesn't really matter if we play the indicated or preferred bass note. It will still sound okay, and the song will still make sense, and the chords will still function in the way that they should. However, it always sounds more musical if you can play the preferred bass note. Here's a quick example. The chord progression is C, G, A minor. Okay, root position C. Cool. Root position G. Root position A minor. Now I'm going to interject a slash chord. Instead of our plain old G, I'm going to play C over B, meaning I want the B note to be the lowest note in the G chord. Check it out. Now we have a bass line that moves in a smooth, linear, stepwise motion. Before our slash chord, the bass line went, it's okay, I guess. I certainly prefer the slash chord, G over B. So that's the quick and dirty version of it. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that this is just the beginning of the story, right? So in other forms of music, maybe just not rock and pop, this bass note can be very important, right? Because we perceive harmony from the ground up. Moreover, it doesn't always have to be a note that is part of the chord, right? Oftentimes when we see slash chords, it's usually, a chord with the third in the bass, or maybe with the fifth in the bass, but it doesn't have to be. We can actually play any chord we want with any bass note we want, provided we handle it with care and make sure it resolves in a way that's musical. This is a really good way to start to explore some harmony and to get some different colors in your chord. I'll give you maybe an example here. So we've got an F chord. Everybody knows this, right? Let's add a bass note here, and it's not going to be a note that's in the chord. It's not going to be F, A, or C. It's going to be G. Okay, what do we call this chord? It could be F/G, or F over G, or G9 sus4, if you're a nerd. Check it out. Really cool, right? One last idea, if you're feeling froggy, if you really want to explore this, get a G chord. Let's use the open strings of our guitar, B, G, and D, because that's a G chord, right? Yeah, I think so. And then let's put every possible note, all 12 of them, under this chord as a bass note. I'm going to start with G. So not really a slash chord, right? It's just a G chord with G in the bass. Now G/F sharp. Here's the major 7 in the bass. at first, maybe it sounds a little odd, but actually it's not that bad. Especially when it resolves, right? I'm going to keep going. That one's a little rough. G over C, love it. Yikes, handle with care. And then finally, we're back to where we started. G with G in the bass, okay? So, quick review. Slash chord is a letter with a slash and another letter. The first letter is the chord. The second letter is the preferred bass note. Do you have to play the preferred bass note? No. Should you? Yes. That will get you through probably 90% of the music you're playing. If you're playing more sophisticated music, maybe in the territory of jazz or sometimes of some forms of classical music, this is much more important to play the correct or preferred bass note. Beyond that, if you experiment with this idea and see it as not a restraint, but something that allows you for way more flexibility and creative possibilities, you can put any triad or any chord on top of any bass note you want. You just have to pay attention to where it's going and what it's doing. All right? See you guys.